Service Room and First Clerk Leader.
Welcome, Grand Negus.
Coming up, the Ferengi are joining the Federation.
This is a classic dumb cop, reasonable cop routine.
Captain, but we'll be fine.
But will an overly ambitious Admiral give away the farm to close the deal?
Congratulations! You have completed the Ferengi all-inclusive newlywed discount package. You may now consummate your marriage.
What?
Meanwhile, Rutherford and Tindy's true feelings for each other come to the surface while on a rather intimate assignment on the Ferengi homeworld.
All this and more.
Coming up on Episode 6 of the Star Trek Lower Decks edition of Energize.
We're hilariously going into the uncharted regions of the Star Trek universe.
You're listening to Energize, a Star Trek Lower Decks edition podcast. Your source for comedic analysis, colorful debate, and fun discussions about the adventures of Beckett Mariner and the USS Cerritos Lower Decks crew.
I'm your host, Anthony McLemore.
And I'm Steve Truitt. This week, Tindy and Rutherford's seemingly platonic friendship takes a surprising turn.
As the Ferengi Grand Negus outsmarts and outwits a Federation Admiral in contract negotiations.
Here's a warp speed recap of Episode 6 of Star Trek Lower Decks, Parth Ferengi's Heart Place.
You four just pulled the most coveted job in Starfleet.
Balancing the positron compression chamber?
No, travel guide duty!
I thought that was a myth.
We also need someone to act as a couple.
You want us to pretend to be married and review stuff? We got married at a wedding! I'm so excited to wake you up from a deep sleep whenever it sounds like you're having a nightmare.
And I'm excited to know how you like your hamburgers so I can order them for you and ask the waiter to take it back when they've made it wrong.
Knock, knock. It's me, Parth, your hug Sierras. It's time for your couple's photo session.
Our what?
Put on these outfits. Congratulations! You have completed the Ferengi all-inclusive newlywed discount package. You may now consummate your marriage.
What?
Not where we can see you. You do it in the blind box, where we can hear it.
All right, Steve, this week's episode involves the Ferengis, which means deals have to be made and Latinum has to be traded.
Okay, so I'm going to just say it from the beginning, and people who listen to this show know this. I didn't watch Deep Space Nine, and part of the reason was that I just don't like the Ferengi. I never have. I don't like their mouthpieces, which makes them sound silly. I think they look stupid, and I can't stand that they're just monochromatically embedded into this trade and gold press Latinum thing. I'm sorry, it just drives me nuts. So this episode, I was like, oh, really? Do we have to?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, I found the Ferengis annoying earlier on, but and in later seasons of Deep Space Nine, when Nog, I think it was Quark's nephew, joined the Federation, and there was a really great episode, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of my favorite Deep Space Nine episodes where they were defending this outpost, and Nog got his leg blown off, and Quark was questioning, why would you join the Federation? Oh, we're about trade. We try to be neutral. And his nephew had purpose. And so at that point, it was a turning point for me when it came to the Ferengi. And in this particular episode, I think their antics made the show.
It definitely, look, Lower Decks makes everything better. It elevates everything. And in this case, I also agree. So I was kind of bummed about having them be featured, but I went along for the ride.
We're under attack! Move us away from that ship. Full impulse. But Captain, they could be looking to trade. It's always good business to know about new customers before they walk in your door.
So, this episode starts off like many episodes have with the mysterious ship. And so okay, I'm getting a little tired of this vehicle. Yeah. Can we get an explanation of what's going on? Of course, this is a Ferengi episode, so this time we're on the lower decks. Yeah. Lower decks of a Ferengi ship. And
which I love.
Yeah.
I love.
They're continuing the joke.
My question is, we noticed almost immediately, these are lower deckers doing this. Now, is this because the show is lower decks and they just want to show everyone in the lower decks? Or, pardon me, Or is there some actual something going on here? Like all of these people planning to trash to mutiny. Is that what's going on? I want to know. Or if it's Badgie or Peanut Hamper, do they want to just destroy all the lower decks? I mean, who knows?
Oh yeah. Who knows at this point? Because I'm at a loss. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, and they're not telling us.
They're not telling us a damn thing.
They're not telling.
And so once again, these fools want to overthrow their captain. Okay, we've played this out, and they come across the ship, and boom, they're done.
It went pretty quick, but there was one little telltale sign in there that one of the Ferengi had somehow maybe communicated with that ship, because he was kind of like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like, so was he an insider? Did he know who he was dealing with, or was it some kind of ruse? Like there was more, but it wasn't a lot more.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll pay this damn thing out, because I'm ready for the payoff. Okay, we're
I can tell, man. You're over this.
I'm over it. It was great 1, 2, 3 times, but we've done it 4 times. So look, can we just get a confirmation on what this is about, so we can get to it?
There's how many episodes
3
left? There's 4, 3,
7, 8, 9, 10. 4 episodes.
4 episodes left. We're gonna figure something out, so we'll get there.
Yes, please put me out of my misery.
So I don't like the Ferengi, and you don't like this mystery. So
yeah.
Did we like the episode? I did.
Oh, I love the episode because the Ferengi actually made it. Remember, I said the Ferengi made this episode.
I know.
Yeah,
I liked it too, in spite of the Ferengi. So.
Okay.
Captain's log. The Cerritos has traveled to Ferenginar. The Ferengi leadership is submitting a formal application to begin the process of joining the Federation.
So we start off with the Cerritos. It's orbiting. I can never get that word out. Orbiting the Ferengi homeworld. Yeah, yep. Orbiting the Ferengi homeworld. And their leadership has formally submitted their application to join the Federation. Surprise. And Freeman and
that is a surprise.
Yeah, and Freeman and this Admiral are tasked with working through the contract, which should be a mere formality, but we're dealing with the Ferengi.
Announcing Grand Negus Rom and First Clerk Leader.
Welcome, Grand Negus. I am honored to have you aboard the Toronto.
I love this, and this particular Ferengi seems to me to be a few screws short of. Well, maybe that's a bad reference. It has a pretty empty toolbox. Is that right? No, is that? I don't know. He doesn't seem smart.
Yeah, I mean, he just. Yeah, I was just like, who is this dude? How did he become Grand Negus? They're usually like, masters of the art of the deal.
Very crafty.
Yeah. Always crafty.
And they're very suspicious, and they don't trust anyone and all that. But he's got this handler or someone, or his wife or someone's there with him.
Yeah, a Bajoran.
Are they together? Are they doing it?
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
Yeah, I have no clue, but she's the mouthpiece. She's the advisor, the spokesperson. And so, we're dealing with the Ferengi. So I don't trust them. And, Freeman is, a little suspicious too, because
she doesn't trust him either.
Right.
She's in camp non-trust.
Exactly. And the Admiral just thinks this is going to be a slam dunk or cakewalk, or however you want to say it. And, when the Grand Negus and his Bajoran aide arrive, they already have changes they want to make to the contract.
Now that we have paid our ceremonial invoice, perhaps we should focus on the application. It's a boilerplate.
Do you still play baseball? We should put in there that Ferenginar gets to play baseball. I like baseball.
Yeah, I love it. And they seem like they're going to be a few, but I think you and I both know it's like, oh, no. Once the doors open, they're going to stick their Ferengi feet in there and not close it.
Yeah, and like you said before, the Grand Negus appears very dumb. Let's just say it. He just seems very, very dumb. And the voice, I was wondering if he was actually somebody we've heard before, because he did sound like.
Yes. Yes, I thought so too. It's funny that you say that. And I thought it was at first Clint Howard. You know Clint Howard?
Oh yeah, of course, Ron Howard's brother, who's in everything, the most famous extra in all of Hollywood.
In Star Trek history. Yeah, he's been in every series and every movie. Well, not every movie, I guess, but yeah. I thought it was him. Did we find out who it was?
No, I didn't. I didn't have time to go back and research it, but it sounded like Quark's either brother or cousin, because there was another Ferengi in Deep Space Nine, and it sounded like him. So I'll have to go check that. But so
we should probably do our research before we do. Shame on us.
Yeah, but the majority of the time we're on point. But it's been a hectic week.
I know, that's true. We do know a lot.
Yeah, but
yeah.
So with him being appearing to have screws that are loose, his aide pulls the Admiral and Freeman aside and says basically he's inept. She confirms it. And he just wants to feel involved. Just make him feel involved. And are we buying this? Are we really buying this at this point?
Yeah. I didn't at all. And the only reason I would have bought it is because of our current political climate where we have a lot of inept leaders. And so it's like, oh, okay, somehow this one got lucky or, stupid luck or whatever it is. And she's kind of she's the adult in the room, but I still didn't buy it.
No, I didn't buy it either because I said, okay, there's a game to be played here. And Freeman, comes right behind that and warns the Admiral that there's a game being played.
This is a classic dumb cop, reasonable cop routine. The terms of the membership application are locked, but if we open them up...
Thank you for the input, Captain, but we'll be fine. He's practically a child.
The contract is ironclad. There's nothing to work out. But the Admiral shuts...
Well, that's the thing. It's like this has been a contract that's been in place for 200 years, right? Or whatever, how long it's been.
Yeah, this is not a deal-making kind of situation.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but the Admiral shuts her down.
Well, listen, give him... You know why? Because he wants to close the deal quickly. He wants to get this done and be seen as someone who makes... these things happen quickly. And that's all it is. I mean, this episode to me kind of a little bit reflected a little bit of a political nature. Maybe it was a bit of a wink to the silliness of politics because it felt that way to me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was all about ego. It was about the Admiral's ego. And so,
totally.
He wants this deal done no matter what. At any cost. And so he starts making adjustments and giving concessions. And, Freeman, thinking this dude is just a child. Oh, we'll just give him this little bit. But the line keeps moving.
You four just pulled the most coveted job in Starfleet.
Balancing the positron compression chamber?
No. Travel guide duty!
I thought that was a myth.
Meantime, the B story, and I know we always call it a B story, but in this case, this really felt like a AA story. Because they're joining the Federation, good old Ransom sends our folks, Mariner, Boimler, and Rutherford down to the planet Tindy. They've got to update the travel guide for the planet, which is such a weird assignment. I just thought it was so funny. And you have to update the travel guide. So you got to go down there and check things out. And something's going to happen. And Ransom makes sure that they get down there and pull some strings so they can get that assignment. It was a very cool B story.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so what was his motivation for giving them this? Because it's kind of a coveted thing. Because crew members get a chance to go down and experience and actually have some fun. All they need to do is just say what's there. So what was interesting to me was that before Ransom even came in, Mariner was just complaining. She's disgruntled because Ransom is giving her everything she wants and, leadership and autonomy and all kinds of things. What the hell's going on?
What's up?
Nothing. I'm doing great. Ransom is supportive of everything I want to do.
So why are you sitting here looking pissed off?
Stop staring at me. Shut up.
Well, at first I thought, maybe naively, Ransom's just trying to be a good guy. But they keep pounding this same theme every week. Mariner doesn't trust him. She tests him. He's all cool with it. It's not a big deal. And she's shocked. And I there's something bigger afoot here. And I think along with this mysterious ship that's destroying everything, I think we're going to find out in short order that Ransom's got something else up his sleeve and we're just not sure what it is.
Yeah. But this assignment ends up becoming really, really fun and weird and quirky because Ransom asked Tindy and Rutherford to pretend they're a couple to review things from that perspective. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is going to go off the cliff.
We also need someone to act as a couple.
You want us to pretend to be married and review stuff? Oh, that sounds hilarious.
Yeah, we're already such a good team. We finish each other's...
Diophantine equations.
It's so great because we see that story. We've seen that storyline in every movie and TV show ever, right? Let's fake being a couple. Yes, dear, come on in, honey. And it's either more wonderful when it's people who hate each other who end up falling in love, but in this case, it's people who don't even realize they like each other, and it's just such a funny and awkward thing. And you know, you and I have been talking about these two for 4 seasons. They love each other for sure. They just don't know it.
Yeah, it's heading in a direction. And so at this very moment, I was like, okay, finally, is it going to happen? Will they, won't they?
Yeah.
Is this Remington Steele? Okay, I just gave my age away.
There's another
one. Why did I just dig up Remington Steele?
How about that?
Oh, God, we need to shut up. We just need to go ahead and shut up and use, 2023 references.
Even if we said Friends, it's too...
yeah, we're done.
Okay, I'll tell you, is it Miraculous?
Yeah, we're just...
If you watch Miraculous, that's what
we're baked. So down on the planet, Rutherford and Tindy, of course they're awkward because they're all like psyching themselves out of the situation because they know they have feelings, but they're not addressing it. But now they have to play this role. Now they're debating how deep should we go into this, and they're just sounding corny and cornbally.
We got married at a wedding. I'm so excited to wake you up from a deep sleep whenever it sounds like you're having a nightmare.
And I'm excited to know how you like your hamburgers so I can order them for you and ask the waiter to take it back when they've made it wrong.
Yeah, it's cute. They're like, come on, wife, this is going to be great. And it's really, I love it. It's adorable. They think it's going to be fun until a little bit later, which we'll get to.
Yeah, so they were going to bail out early. And then this Ferengi concierge type guy recognizes them as a couple and gives them a couples package. So now they're locked into it.
Knock, knock. It's me, Parth, your concierge. It's time for your couple's photo session.
What?
Put on these outfits.
They are. And so the first thing they got to do is get dressed up, and they're obviously, she's wearing a really cute dress and he looks good, and they can't believe how attractive each other is. Like, wow, I didn't realize. Like, they're getting their picture done. They go to dinner, and then all of a sudden, I don't know why them, other than it's funny and they're on the show. But they get picked for some spotlight game show.
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, it just gets crazy, So they get all dressed up, and this photographer comes in and does a couple's photo shoot, and then he's like, okay, well now it's time to do the lingerie portion of it, and they run out.
Yeah, and she's like, what? That was so great. So they're given sexy chocolate, and the funny thing about that is with every bite that they have to eat, they have to say something that they like about each other. And like, what? I mean, it almost felt like a setup. Like the Ferengi, who don't trust anybody, didn't trust this couple, and they were trying to see, are they really, an actual couple?
Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious because, it's pushing them further and further to talking about their own, what would be the word, pent-up emotions feelings for each other.
Unrequited love,
Thank
right?
you.
And
Dropping bags off in hotel room is off the list. We got the for-profit minibar, the for-profit toilet, the machine that charges you to pay for the toilet and the minibar. View screen works. That's everything. I give this hotel a 9 out of 10.
And so while all this is going on, the whole time Boimler is up in his room, in his hotel room, engrossed in Ferengi sitcoms and dramas. Yeah.
Well, he first turns on the TV because he's like, well, I should probably check it out. And I'll just watch this one. And then he watches another one and he just gets completely sucked in.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that he was just like being critical of all the story plots at the same time. He had to keep watching them. And, it sounded like it was an indictment on American TV.
Well, I feel like it's weird. I feel like this entire episode was a snapshot of Americana in a way. Strange political factions, shitty television, distrust, coupling,
the art of the deal. Art of the deal.
Yeah. It all just kind of, the whole thing felt that way. This episode.
Yeah. So I was just
which usually in Star Trek you get one in an episode, but like the whole thing seemed that way.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, totally. And so Rutherford and Tindy are going through their thing. Boimler's going through his thing. And, what was really great about this episode is we really finally got a chance to dig a little deeper into Mariner's motivations for how she acts and why she behaves the way she does. And so she took her time on the planet to spend time with one of her Ferengi friends.
Hey, Quimp.
Well, if it isn't my favorite pathetic human. Is that a new Pip I see?
Yep. I'm an LJG again, for now.
And so it was just constant Mariner just doing reckless stuff.
Well, and the thing I like about it was he seemed to be like a mentor to her. He's known her for a long time. She's grown up in Starfleet. He doesn't judge her. He likes her. But still, she gets drunk and gets in a bar fight.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you just want to just, blow up things. You're chaos. And so, and so she, gets bailed out of jail by her friend, and even her Ferengi friend is concerned about her unusual behavior, and he made a very good point.
Do you understand how many people I just had to bribe to keep your little drunken fist fight from ruining Starfleet's diplomatic mission?
I'm a wild rogue living on the edge of chaos. I sit weird in chairs. You can't predict me.
He said that, usually your chaos, it has some kind of meaning. It's about something. But this time she's just angry about nothing.
So, yeah, and it's, he kind of points out that she's got this perpetual state of rebellion, and she should probably look at it. And, throughout this season especially, it seems like every episode, again, with Ransom, she pushes the envelope. He doesn't react. He points out that she didn't need to do it in the first place, and she's like, yeah. And you can see, even in the cartooning of her just kind of looking inside and saying, yeah, I really didn't need to do that. She's really on a self-discovery mission here this season, which I find really fascinating.
Yeah, and refreshing, because you think an animated series would just be empty, but it actually, we constantly discuss the evolution of these characters. We got a chance to see it with Tindy. We've seen it with Rutherford. We've seen it with Boimler, and I think it's good. Everybody's growing, so it's not just a one note.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Let's finish at my palace. Much better photo op for the signing.
If that's what it takes, fine.
He's making you feel like you're close, then delaying to make you frustrated enough to sign anything.
So we get back to the ship, and back on the Cerritos, the Admiral keeps making more and more concessions to the Federation contract, and Freeman just keeps warning him, why are you doing this? But he's all in. He's put all his chips on the table.
And he's using his admiralness to kind of shut Freeman down, even though I think we all know that Freeman knows what she's doing. This is another thing I like about her, and this gets resolved, I think, really well at the end too, is that she's arguably captain of one of the least respected ships in the fleet. But she does seem to have some real gravitas, and she knows what she's doing, and some real experience, and she does tend to bring the ship through issues and people through issues that you may not give her credit for or think she could do, because she's captaining such a woe-begotten ship,
Yeah, and so by the end, the Admiral has completely been swindled. He's given away, like I said earlier, he's given away the farm. And so he's even given the Ferengi access to Starfleet ships in the deal, which is unheard of.
In addition to the contractual changes, we are now allowed use of any ship in Starfleet at our discretion, whether we end up joining the Federation or not.
Yes.
It was so great. I was just like, what the hell is he doing? It's just to close the deal, right? He has no idea. Here he is, an admiral. You'd think he'd know that he's getting swindled by Ferengi, and he just doesn't see it because of his desperation.
Yeah, and so finally Freeman steps in and tricks the Ferengi and swindles them.
It's so great.
And it's something they actually respected, because they felt like that was a sign of appreciation towards them and understanding of them and respect.
It reminds me of the Vulcan Hello, which is the pilot episode of Discovery, where Michael Burnham's like, let's shoot at the Klingons. They'll respect us, right? In this case with Freeman, it's like, hey, you can get everything you want on the one condition that you bring one member into the Federation along with you. and they're like, "You got it," and I don't remember if they signed it or not.
Yeah. Well, they realized they couldn't
right?
pull it off, so they got to out-swindle, which they respected. And
right. But the other person, the other people were the Klingons.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, it has to be the Klingons, and they're like, wait, we can't do that, and that's when they realized they got screwed.
Yeah, and so they end up signing the standard application. Freeman saves the day.
Right away. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
You're a top-notch hug, Shears, but we have to come clean.
Just a second. Hold that thought. Well. It looks like we've caught two people lying about being a couple to defraud our company out of a discount.
And so we get back to Tindy and Rutherford, and this is where it hits the pinnacle.
Yeah.
They can't handle being uncomfortable anymore, and they want to go back to being friends. And in the midst of them saying this, what happens?
Well, whoever's in charge, the Ferengi concierge or whatever, just busts another couple for faking it and using a fake relationship to get a discounted deal. And I don't know what happened, but are they like dragged to jail?
Yes,
or something?
they got arrested.
It's a really harsh punishment.
It's considered a high crime.
a high Ferengi crime. Yeah, right. And so immediately they're like, because they were about to tell the Ferengi guy, hey, listen, we're not a couple. And he comes back and goes, so what were you going to tell me? Which is like the funny.
Oh, yeah.
It's always that funny line.
Yeah, I loved it. I was just cracking up.
Yeah.
So this forces Tindy and Rutherford to play up their roles.
Congratulations! You have completed the Ferengi all-inclusive newlywed discount package. You may now consummate your marriage.
What?
And in true game show form, they've made their declarations already.
Yes.
But now they must consummate their love for each other in a blind box where everyone can hear it.
So fun. I mean, just think about how, I just know the writers are sitting around the room go, okay, how can we make it even worse? Let's have another couple get busted. What else? Put her in a dress. What else? Let's make them have sex in a box where everyone can hear it. Yes, I can hear them screaming.
It was so funny, and then they were like,
what?
We're not gonna have everyone watch us have sex.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're gonna put you in this blind box so we can all hear it.
Right.
And that's when I busted out laughing. No, we don't want to watch it. We just want to hear it.
No. Yeah. Which is funny because they could have faked that too, but they may not know how to fake that. They're so innocent and sweet.
Yeah. They're so
luckily
awkward.
Sorry. Yeah, and luckily it never got to that point because, of course, it got upended when McLemore comes in.
Yes, the duck counselor.
And he's like, yeah, and he's just like, hi, and that's Paul F. Tompkins, a guy I like a lot.
Divana, Samanthan, what a coincidence. These are famously the two closest platonic friends on my ship.
Platonic? Security!
And he's like, Tindy and Rutherford aren't a couple. They're the closest platonic friends on the ship. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yep. And now they're busted. And so the Ferengi's pissed, and they stand to go to jail. But then Tindy, goes all Orion and gets aggressive.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but she comes up with another, again, the writers are probably high at this point in the writer's room. They're like, well, let's have her just say that actually McLemore's lying and that they're in a triple relationship. They're a throuple. There's a three-way. And McLemore was trying to break up the two of them because he was jealous. And it's just like, where's this going? It was just a little bizarre, but it was cute for her to do that.
Yeah.
To go from, innocent and pure and prudy to like, we're having a threesome.
Yep. That's what's great about Tindy's character. I mean, she has that Orion side of her that just, pulls himself out of dangerous situations. Yeah. And so the two of them, walk out. And McLemore is left standing there, and so then the Ferengi subsequently offers him the homewrecker package.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I really do think that the writers sat around trying to figure out how they could make that as bizarre as possible and then have some Deus Ex Machina to get them out of there, and it worked. I mean, it was really formulaic and silly, but I loved it. That's why I didn't want to call it a B story, because it was really like a AA story.
Yeah. I thought it was great. And so Tindy and Rutherford go back to being their plutonic selves, which I don't think we're done with this. I think it was great because we didn't pay it off in this episode.
No, I don't think so. And like I said, and we have said for, seasons now, something's up with them. Now, the only thing that would make them falling in love more charming is if we get to the very end of the series and they never do because they're just so innocent. That might even be more interesting.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
And more consistent. I don't know. I don't know if I see them like. I don't know. Maybe they do. Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe the mysterious ship will push them.
Oh.
Maybe the Cerritos being half destroyed or something. I don't know. I think Cerritos is going to take a beating and, lives will be lost, and maybe that's when she'll just admit, I love you.
Oh, you really think it's going to be that bad, huh?
Yeah. Cerritos can't. I mean, all the other ships have been got their asses kicked. The Cerritos can't go through this unscathed.
Well, they can't be destroyed either. You're not going to have a show.
Well, I mean, they can always build another Cerritos.
Cerritos A?
Maybe, yeah. But maybe the Cerritos in next season won't be a California class. I don't know.
Be like
this is Anthony.
Maybe like a New Mexico class or an Arizona or an Idaho class.
It'd be a Rhode Island class ship.
Yeah, Rhode Island class, the Providence.
Yeah.
And there's only 3 of them because it's such a tiny
state. Yeah, it's in a tiny class of ship. So who knows?
That's right.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're going to get a payoff soon. But
I hope so.
Everything, ends with Boimler. Boimler is still down on the planet. Ransom calls him, and he's like hasn't slept in days, and he's just crazy.
And again, with that wonderful, I love what they do with the eyes of all the characters when they're suspicious. The eyes are kind of half closed, but he's just completely wired out on this TV stuff, and his eyes are wide open and they're red underneath in bags and stuff, and he's in his underwear and he's just like, oh my God.
Perfect in for Boimler because he's always all in. Whatever he does, he's going to commit to it. And so I just thought, I thought that was freaking hilarious. But overall, I just enjoyed the episode because I got good laughs out of the whole run of Tindy and Rutherford, and then I enjoyed seeing the Admiral just completely just give in to everything that they wanted. And I enjoyed Mariner, digging a little deeper because somebody called Mariner out. Who knows her?
I like that too, and I think we're going to see more of. I think this is really Mariner's season, although really every season seems to be. But I really think this is one for her to really stretch. The other thing I noticed, and I didn't notice it myself, but I think Sean Farrick said something about it. He does Trek culture, and there's a couple other guys who talk about Trek. Is that just throughout Star Trek lore, the admirals are always the bad guys within Starfleet. They're either stupid or they're corrupt, or they're taken over by aliens. There's always something going on with the admirals.
Yeah. I'll never forget when that one got his head blown off. He had a parasite in his head.
Yeah.
In Next Generation.
Right. That's right. They blew his head off. Yeah. And then even J.J. Abrams' Star Trek Into Darkness,
Oh, yeah.
The RoboCop Admiral.
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a bad admiral. Badmiral.
Yeah, I have to say, though, he was badass.
Oh, he was great.
Who's going to protect us?
You better kill me.
Oh, yeah, I love that. You just better kill me.
Yeah, that was just so great. And he was right.
Who do you think is going to protect us? You?
You? Yeah, he's got a great voice.
Yeah, his voice is awesome. I loved it in 24 when he played the bad guy in 24 in season 5 when David Palmer got killed. And
oh, you just blew it for me. I was only on season 4. No,
damn! But it was. I
watched the first season. I watched the first season of 24, and I stopped.
Oh, dude, you missed great seasons. Season 2 was phenomenal when they 25th Amendment the president because he was doing the right thing, and his freaking cabinet, went with bad information and went and tried to nuke Iran. It was great.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, it was good.
The one thing I didn't like about here's what I didn't like about 24. I'm a
stupid B story.
No, yeah, the B stories. No, the pilot episode of 24, the first one, a plane explodes at midnight, right? So by episode 7, it's 7 in the morning. But it's the 7th week that the show's been on, and so they're all into this other story. But if it was realistically 24 hours, there would be a whole news. They would open the news with a plane exploded last night, and they never mentioned it. And I thought, that's not accurate. That's not 24 hours. And then that's why I didn't.
Oh, you read a little too hard. You should have finished season 1, watch season 2, because that was phenomenal.
No, I did finish season 1.
Yeah, okay. Season 2, go back, watch season 2. And season 5 was really it was the pinnacle. It was good. But anyways, we just jumped out because of Peter Weller. But
that's right.
Yeah. Well, again, I enjoyed this episode. But that concludes this episode of Energize, a Star Trek Lower Decks podcast.
We love that you guys are listening to us and following us. You can follow us on Instagram. Just search Energize. Go to www.energizepodcasts.com to check us out for previous episodes. Anthony, do you have a Anthony McLemore website?
Yes, I do. I actually do have a website. It is Anthony McLemore. That's McLemore.com.
And I have SteveTruitt.com, where you can hear an audio version of my book, The Deletion, which is an Amazon bestseller.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm Anthony McLemore.
I'm Steve Truitt. Live long and prosper.
Sweet.